the one and only.
All right, and ladies and gentlemen, before we get started tonight, just going to do a quick little sound check here, and we will be very, very close to the start of our Monaco Grand Prix here for Xbox Division 2. Just going to do a sound check real quick with Saxman. So if you hear random screaming noises in the background, do not worry, Saxman, you're good to go. You can scream all you want so I can test out your audio here.
Hey man, looking forward to a great race tonight with the Division 2 guys. I recognize a few guys in here. Ramrod looks like he's back on Xbox. I'll be looking forward to watching him tonight.
Yeah, Ramrod. Yeah, he's joined us back. I'm very excited. Actually, I believe Ramrod is in our Division
PC,
3.
right?
Yes. Oh yeah, he is PC. Yeah. Oh, he's back in D2 tonight. Completely losing train of thought. Yes, he's also in PC Division 3. So it's nice to have him here for Xbox as well. See if he can have maybe a good result here at Monaco. And we'll go ahead here and pull up the lobby for everyone. But yeah, very excited to have you here tonight, Sax. It gets lonely sometimes here in the booth when it's just myself. So I'm very excited to have someone to be along with for the time being. As it looks like we're now here with the countdown. 25 seconds till the race start. What are your keys for Monaco, if you can really have any at all at this very wild track?
Yeah, so I'm looking for drivers to keep it clean. We all know that. A lot of chat in the Discord leading up to the races tonight. Just guys worried about keeping their wings clean, keeping the wings on the car. Talked to a few guys about setups, what they're looking for, so high downforce, and so overall just looking for some quick pace, those that can make up the most ground in the corners, maximize the track as hard as that is to do, and just don't damage those wings, because you can lose a lot of time coming into the pits, changing them, and you can quickly find yourself down the order and trying to play catch up the whole entire race. And then safety cars. I think safety cars are going to be a huge factor here tonight.
Yeah, safety car definitely going to play a major factor here tonight. As I just check in with our visuals here on YouTube, make sure we have everything streaming correctly, so we don't black screen on anyone. And should be good in just a few moments here, folks. As at times our Xbox console companion does not like to be my friend. All right, I believe we should be all good here now, all right, which is awesome because last week we had a little bit of difficulties. But yeah, I got a grid of 13 tonight at Monaco, so maybe without a full grid of 20, might see a little less carnage. That's what we saw happen last night in our PC Division 1 race. Unfortunately, I was the literal first one to go, but that was around lap 14, I believe. So kept it pretty clean for the most part there. So maybe tonight could be one of those nights we see that again, and I wouldn't be shocked to see if we maybe see a clean race. However, Monaco, being Monaco, can really have anything and everything, and it heartbreaks, failures, comeback drives, just a little bit of it all for everyone.
Yeah, Nick, and what I really like about Monaco is it gives the guys in the back of the pack a chance to come and steal the limelight. Maybe a guy that's usually pretty quick week in and week out makes a mistake, and you never know. You could find somebody that maybe might be in the midfield finishing on the podium step tonight, and it's all just a matter of, like you said, it's the mental challenge of keeping the car off the walls for as many laps and not making mistakes. So, um, unfortunate to not see full grid tonight. I know a lot of guys maybe are like, "Oh, it's not worth my time," or I'll make mistakes all night long, and kind of find myself on the back foot and on the unfortunate end of things. But the hindsight to that is it's the same for everybody, and you can find yourself getting a great result and good points tonight if you just stick with it and catch a little bit of luck on your side.
Yeah, most definitely. And Monaco's one of those tracks where it a lot of times will really come down to sheer luck and where you are on track as well. I mean, it's all about being at the right place at the right time. And sometimes you just can't strategize that no matter how great of a race you have. But hopefully I'm going to be looking for a clean race tonight and maybe a few overtakes in places we don't normally see during, real life F1 because Monaco's such a tricky track to overtake at. But when it comes to league racing, I mean, you see some guys pull off unbelievable moves that just in real life drivers aren't able to take those kind of risks, mainly because the cars they drive are worth hundreds of millions of dollars, whereas we can simply take this one back to the pits with no fear or repercussion from a team boss.
And I believe that's the beauty of racing virtually, whether it's sim racing or simcade like we have tonight, is you're going to see guys take shots in passing zones that you wouldn't think are passing zones and really kind of send it up the inside. And it makes for some exciting stuff. The other side to that is, there could be contact, and you run the risk of taking another driver out. And the other side of that is you get guys with tempers boiling over, getting frustrated with each other. As we see Delirious pull to the inside there, and it looks like the Ferrari driver just mentioned it, not too happy with that. Kind of pulls up real close to him. Maybe it impeded his lap there.
Yeah, looking like that might have been. We see that going on through turns 11 and 12 there.
Looks like Night Shrimp.
Yeah,
Night Shrimp and Delirious.
That may be looked at later. Yeah, we were on board Night Shrimp right as we were slowing down, so took a shot back, but yeah, seeing Delirious go slow as well. Maybe something to be looked at post-race. That's another thing too to talk about with Monaco is qualifying. You can't go very slow on your in or out lap because you're so bunched up in the field. Even with only 13 drivers, when you see 20 in a Q1 session, I mean it's so hectic. But even with 13 right now, you really have to keep up your pace. And luckily, it doesn't affect your tires too much. But if you go too slow, you can catch yourself with a guy on a lap behind you very quickly.
Yeah, real F1 coming out with a minimum speed requirement. Maybe that's something leagues adopt here if you don't want guys stopping, especially here at Monaco on track, catching another guy out that may be on a flying lap.
Yeah, and I mean, as it looks like right as we go there with Tazonic about to cross the line, he has left the session. Hopefully we can get him back in just a few moments. We'll now take this here to Delirious. I believe is pushing again there on the mediums. So if it's up to you, if you're racing right now, you see you got 13 drivers, you got a good shot to get in the top 10. Are you maybe going to throw on the mediums to make your first stint longer, or are you still going to go with those softs since it is a soft to medium strategy here?
I think the guys have to leave it on the track here tonight in quali. In real life, in virtual racing, we see the guys that start up at the front at Monaco are usually the ones that finish at the front. If you have just tremendous pace on the mediums, it might make a bit of sense. But I imagine every single one of these drivers is going to be out on the soft tire tonight.
Yeah, most definitely. That's what it's looking like right now. Besides Delirious, however, who's with a 10-4 there on the mediums, currently second place even with 6 times in, might be looking pretty healthy there. We'll see how the rest of qualifying goes, however. Still 12 minutes, a lot of time left, especially at Monaco, and it's about a minute and 10-second lap here. As we now see Ramrod cross the line with a 1:12.6 there. Definitely going to want to improve because that will probably not be a very competitive time there to get up and to the front. But very shocked that we have 11 drivers in the pits at the moment. and only 2 out on track. That's I'm wondering maybe if they're just waiting till the end and not wanting to use up their tires, or if some guys are maybe choosing to start from the back. Very interesting tactic you'll see some drivers elect to choose when it comes to Monaco, thinking that there's going to be lap 1 carnage, turn 1 into Sandoval, and that they maybe just want to avoid that. But still, as you were saying earlier, I'd still elect to get as high up in the grid order as possible instead of trying to make that heroic comeback drive through the field from the start to finish of the race.
Yeah, if you find yourself caught out in quali, maybe you invalidate it, as we see Ramrod kind of do that into turn 1, I believe is where he invalidated. You could slap on those medium tires and let the guys in front of you on the soft tire take off, and just hope that you get this just great overcut with that tire strategy and you end up on the soft tire at the end. But passing here, even though you can take your chances and kind of send one up the inside in some turns where you wouldn't see it in real life, it still takes a lot to overtake here at Monaco, and you can easily find yourself in a terrain that just almost seems like you'll never make up any ground.
Yeah, that's a tricky part too of Monaco, because you can find yourself at certain sectors on track where you're faster, maybe faster than one driver, and can't find and move around, and then maybe they got a tenth or two around you in another sector, and by the time you know it, you're 15 laps in and stuck on the same driver, and you feel like you've wasted so much time because maybe you know you got a slight bit of an advantage over them, but it's just going to be so tricky to get around somebody, because it's not like other circuits where you got that benefit of DRS. You got a long run. Circuits we see like Canada, where you got that long run down the back straight where it's easy to get an overtake. You don't have to fight too much with the other driver. Here at Monaco, that DRS only goes into turn 1, and it's not long at all. It's a very short straight, and you really have to be very tactical with how you elect to make your overtakes here.
Absolutely, and you can make a pass down the front stretch. You just have to get that great run out of the penultimate corner. I've seen guys do it. I've seen guys struggle though, and if you can't get it done, and maybe some guys opted to run maybe less wing, you're just going to be frustrated the whole race, and that's when you really start to see these guys come together and start making contact and really trying to make moves out of desperation because they know they have better pace. Maybe they catch themselves out with wing damage, or they take another driver out. Worst case scenario, and you never want to see that, even in a league race.
Yeah,
we see $10 go fastest with a 110.3.
Yeah, Indian Cyclone looking like he was going to steal pole there, and no, $10 going to be still snatching there, just half a tenth up. We got King Kirk, the other Mercedes, coming behind him as well, about to cross the line, looking very competitive. He's up 3/10 already on that lap. Might be able to steal pole, and he does by a tenth of a second over $10 whole. $10 whole really coming into form as well. I don't know if you've kept up too much of your stats with the Xbox D2 leagues, but $10 whole is starting to really gain some traction here and pace, and looking very competitive. I'm excited to see him compete. The Mercedes of King Kirk and Indian Cyclone have also done an excellent job so far very early in the season, just like we see in real life with Mercedes.
Yeah, $10 whole has exactly $9 whole more than I do in my current wallet. But no, man, I've seen him in some other leagues, and he's quick, and he seems to be consistent. I recognize a lot of these other guys raced with him last year when we had a D1 tier that allowed you to use line and some, use that as an assist. But King Kirk's quick. Indian Cyclone is looking like he's found some pace with 2020. Delirious, always a quick guy. Ramrod, and Mad Marlin too. I mean, none of these guys on this list here, all the way down to this to Sonic and to Shadow Wolf, none of these guys are really slow. So I expect a nice tight race tonight, and look to see a lot of competitive overtaking and moves on tracks. As we see Delirious go with a 109.4, so he's going to take pole over King Kirk by 0.8 of a second there. Not a whole lot down to $10 whole, but those are going to be your top 3 guys. And I think maybe if you can't get on the front row, maybe third place position isn't such a bad place to start.
No, it's not. I mean, you can definitely maybe get a run up into turn 1 and up the hill as well. And yeah, it's not a bad spot. The front row is maybe the most dangerous spot to be at sometimes, because you don't know exactly what's going to go on behind you, but maybe for $10 this can be good for him. But he's also got to watch out. Any cyclone right behind him could put in another stellar lap and maybe pass him up, but $10 will have another chance to do so as well. And as we were speaking about drivers, Tazonic, who's yet to put in a lap, has always been a sleeper in all the races. His qualifying pace is usually not up to par, but somehow he's found himself on multiple podiums last year, yet to do so this year very early in the season. But he's sometimes Mr. Consistent, and even at a track here like Monaco, if he does start very far back, can't count him out.
Nine Shrimp rolling backwards by Casino. Oh, he's going to be in the way of the Mercedes driver coming around the corner. Yikes. Looks like that might have been King Kirk, but fortunately the Mercedes driver is both on outlaps there, but that could have been nasty with Night Shrimp sitting there parked on the apex like that.
Yeah, that was very dangerous there by Night Shrimp. Obviously losing the car and trying to find his way to get back on the circuit as quick as possible. But yeah, luckily for the Mercedes there.
Yeah, so we see Mad Marlin coming through Sector 2, was on a purple lap, and unfortunately, and we haven't talked about this yet, Nick, but invalidated his lap, took a bit of curb coming through swimming pool, and so that's the other thing I'm looking for tonight is time penalties. Fairly easy to kind of rack up here at Monaco. You have turn 1 if you take too much curb. Obviously, if you miss any of the chicanes, or the chicane, you know, that can be an easy spot for drivers to pick up a penalty. But also going through the swimming pool section, if you try to cut maybe one of those curves or kind of take the wrong angle in there, that could also be another time penalty and warnings for tracks extensions and track limits that you just don't want to rack them up, because if we get a safety car, especially a late safety car, there's not enough time to open up a 3-second, 6-second, or 9-second gap to the guy behind you. And you might see a guy finish on the podium, drop all the way down to 6th, 7th place in some cases, and we have seen that.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple of times in league races, especially here at PPR, where you get that late safety car and you can really get caught out. But that all comes down to drivers' consistency throughout the race. I mean, you got to keep it there from start to finish, and expect the unexpected come to the end of the race. So who knows? Maybe we're going to end up jinxing that here tonight, but we'll see how it all unfolds. Indian Cyclone now coming around that final turn. DRS engage. Looks to come across the line. See if he can put himself in the top 3. Ooh, he's going to put himself in the top 2. 6/10 there behind Delirious, and that is a 110.0. Nearly getting the 109s there, but can't quite crawl his way up there.
Yeah, Indian Cyclone besting his teammate there by a couple tenths. That's going to give him a front row start. I was on board, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Vantis in the McLaren looks to be on a quick lap. He kind of took 2 laps there. He's now coming through the tunnel section, coming downhill into the chicane. As we see Alpha driver, looks like get out of the way there. And little bit of traction loss here, but he's going to be our first driver coming around here in the last final minutes of quali. Sets a purple sector 2, so he's flying right now. Catches a bit of the barrier there on the outside of the swimming pool section. Bit of a lockup, not going to cost him too much time, it doesn't look like. Let's see what he does here, making his way onto the front stretch. Nice and tight through there, like the line. DRS open, deployed all the battery, and he's going to cross the line. He's going to improve a couple spots up to 7th, but still about a 1.5 seconds off the best time tonight.
Yeah, Fantas really taking the use of full track to the advantage there.
Yeah, I mean, it just has to be, you can get away with some of it, but sometimes wrong angle, you can lose an end plate, lose some wing elements, and it's almost race over. 2019 was very forgiving in the sense that sometimes certain wing damage wouldn't impede your time a whole lot, and it made more sense just to stay out than coming in to replace wings. Not the case in 2020. Even a bit of wing damage, you're going to feel the effects of just the handling really degrading from a lack of downforce.
Yeah, and definitely here, especially at a track like Monaco, I mean, you pick up just a loss of end plate, which is usually results there in yellow wing damage. You're going to feel it around the circuit, and you're going to lose, on average, about 0.4 of a second, which can be crucial here at a track like this. Is currently on board here with Marlin. Is coming through sector 3 here. Going to get as close to the wall as possible. And he is flying. Ooh, hopping the curb there. very good not to invalidate. See if he can put himself in the top 5 here. I don't think he will, as he looks to still be towards the bottom of the grid. Yes, he will. Cruise by 0.8 of a second, still only good enough there for P9.
Yeah, he's probably a little disappointed with that lap. He's trying to improve on his medium tire time. Didn't quite get there. Now he's kind of maybe starting on the soft tire, which maybe if he had stayed out on the mediums, could have done the counter strat to the guys in front of him. As we see, King Kirk looks to be on a lap here. Sets a purple sector 1, so this is going to be a quick lap for him. He is on fresh, soft tires, making his way around the hairpin, very slow through that section of the track. One thing we haven't talked about is getting the bite through the corners. You really don't want a front end that slides a lot. You need the car to rotate, and that's only because there's just limited real estate on track, and to get around some of these corners quickly, you kind of need a car that almost oversteers, which can make it difficult as tires wear out. Yeah,
definitely. And one thing too at Monaco we haven't mentioned either is tire tips. Oh, it looks like King Kirk, unfortunately gets into the wall there. You have to watch out. He's got his teammate very close behind. Doesn't want to get in the way of him, as Indian Cyclone will be starting a lap pretty shortly here. But yeah, that's unfortunate there for Kirk. Looks like we have Tazonic back there in the AlphaTauri. Currently
Kirk's going to retire from the session. Looks like Ramrod's going for one final last-ditch effort here. Makes it across the line with only 18 seconds left on the clock. Decent exit on turn 1 here. He's going to be flying. He's going to be following Indian Cyclone, who's farther up the track ahead of him. And we see Delirious invalidate, so he's coming in. So looks like the nearest driver, Fantas, is invalidated. So Indian Cyclone's going to be our first driver across the line, still trying to improve on his time here. Maybe trying to make a bid for pole.
Maybe, and actually we got Tazonic, who's going to be next up but unable to improve. So now take it on board here to Indian Cyclone. Can he beat Delirious' time? Doesn't look like it. He's down 0.3 from his previous best. I mean, he's going to have to put in a stellar third sector to really compete there with Delirious, but he may be safe here unless Shadow Wolf there in 5th can put in a stellar lap here towards the
Keeps
end.
It nice and tidy. Nice and tidy through the swimming pool section, making his way back through the penultimate corner now. Takes a little bit of an early entry there. Mike compromises exit. He's on the throttle, DRS open, and he's not going to be able to improve. So he's going to be starting P2 on track. So we see the Shadow Wolf coming around.
Shadow Wolf might take it.
He gets out of it.
No, he won't. No, he will not. So that is it there for qualifying. Delirious with a 109.4 for our pole time. And then the pair of Mercedes of Indian Cyclone and King Kirk rounding out 2nd and 3rd. And $10 whole rounding out the 2nd row of the grid, followed by the Shadow Wolf there in 5th. And then Ramrod, Fontes, Tazonic, AC, and Marlon all there in the top 10. Perpetual Rain and Vextrack not putting in a lap at all. Maybe quality bans for them. I'm not too sure how that's looking at penalty-wise. But so far, thoughts after the end of qualifying here?
You know, halfway to be expected to see guys like Delirious, Indian Cyclone, King Kirk at the top. $10 whole as well. Shadow Wolf surprising me a bit. I haven't seen him race in quite some time, but a nice, solid 5th starting position on track. And of course, the likes of Ramrod and Tazonic, kind of a couple guys I have my eye on. But no, I'm just looking for the guys up front to get a clean getaway and see if anybody can make a move into turn 1. But I think if we can fall in line and get it through the first couple turns, I think we could have ourselves a nice race on our hands without an early safety car. And then if not, are there going to be guys that maybe chance changing up the strategy a bit, maybe going on the hard tire? Who knows? That might be something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, the hards could be an option if we see a early safety car, but the question is, how long can those hard tires go? I haven't used them at all during Monaco, so I'm not too sure. But I mean, I know you said it's got a race later tonight. If you were stuck in a situation with an early safety car, what's around the lap that you would put on those hard tires?
Again, it's tough to say. I have seen guys. I've seen one time where a guy took hard tire all the way from lap 5 until the end. The thing about the hard tires, it's just not fast enough, and so you really have to find the optimum opportunity. Maybe in a race where maybe you pick up early wing damage and you get fortunate enough that there's not another safety car. That hard tire can go 30 laps and be still somewhat quick, but the guys on soft to medium tires, they're going to have more pace than you, even if they have to make that extra stop.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it looks like Night Shrimp there picking up a 5-place grid penalty. Vex Track as well, that's not going to affect him at all. So Night Shrimp's going to drop to 12th, and Perpetual Rain will be 11th. But other than that, no changes to the top 10. Outside of Delirious there in P1, everyone from 2nd down to 6th, maybe even Fontas there in 7th. Very, very close there in the 110s. So maybe a very exciting battle to come here during the race.
And just checking on the championship standings here, Nick, I think just looks like, I don't know, we haven't talked too much about Hey Ace. I know he didn't qualify too far up the order, but he finds himself, looks like about a race and some change behind our championship leader of Indian Cyclone. He might be looking to get a nice result tonight and try to make up some ground to Indian Cyclone, as he and Delirious are kind of, like I said, right there about a whole race behind Indian Cyclone, racking up the points for Team Mercedes. And then just farther down the order here, $10 this might be an opportunity, Perpetual Rain, where they can make up some money on guys that aren't present, like Money Hustard, Brackish, so on and so forth. So for the championship, like I said, Monaco can be an opportunity for guys that aren't usually up in the top order, make up some decent points amongst their competitors who maybe didn't show up or, maybe have a bad race tonight.
Yeah, it most definitely can be. And speaking of Indian Cyclone, I've kind of called this season his redemption season, and he's done that very much so far, as he lost out from the championship at the second to last race of the season last year in Brazil. If anyone watching remembers, he got caught out in an incident at Brazil, the second to last race of the season, only behind by 3 points to our eventual champion, TRC Platinum. And that one incident that unfortunately he was caught out in cost him the entire championship. Very heartbreaking moment for all of us to watch, as we expected a race to the final checkered flag in Abu Dhabi. But so far this season, Indian Cyclone doing a stellar job. But he's got Delirious in front of him. Delirious picking up a win tonight, and if Cyclone gets caught out by anything, he's going to feel that championship decrease very quickly.
Yeah, Delirious, a very quick driver. He's a smart driver. We don't talk about that very much in league racing. It's takes a bit of intelligence sometimes to get good results, even if you don't have the best handling car. Maybe you just get caught out a little bit by strategy. We see smarter drivers maybe kind of pick and choose their battles accordingly and then not find themselves caught out. Delirious, I imagine, will be pretty quick tonight. Indian Cyclone, like you said, having a bit of a redemption season. And based on the lead that he has that I can see, the guy has some wins and he's had some great results tonight. So both those guys, though, taking a pretty fast out lap here, trying to get some heat into those soft tires. Can take about a lap for them to come on, and they're going to want to have tires in the optimum tire temperature range to get the maximum grip off the line, which is super critical here at Monaco.
Yeah, and with such a short formation lap, it's pretty crucial there to get the tire temps up. The last thing you want is to have a horrible start off the line and be caught up from drivers behind, especially going up into Saint-Devoux. But here we go, all the drivers rounding out into their grid boxes. Will it be chaos, will it be carnage, or will we get through turn 1, lap 1 very cleanly? We'll know very shortly here at PPR Esports here for Xbox Division 2 at Monaco. We are very close to 5 red lights. All our drivers in the top 11 on the softs, 2 in the back on the mediums. We have 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go here for Xbox Division 2. Delirious getting a great start. Indian Cyclone and King Kirk. Oh, falling a little bit back there. He's got the AlphaTauri going around the outside, and we have some contact in the back. Some drivers losing the wing plates, but other than that, everyone has gotten up the hill fairly decent, and it looks like we do have a yellow there.
Hey, Ace catching a bit of wing damage here. He got into the back. I believe it was the McLaren driver in front of him, as we see the guys Constantine effect, where they just bunch up here through a hairpin. He's picked up a bit of wing damage. I hope that's not the commentator's curse. I did have a nice little bit there to maybe see him get a nice result, but wing damage early on is going to catch him out, and it's going to be a tough race from here for him.
Yeah, very unfortunate there for Hey AC. And maybe having a little bit of Codemasters glitching there. I saw some blue flags being waved. Hopefully that doesn't go on to the duration of the race for some of our drivers, because that can be quite annoying seeing those when you know you're not a lap down. But Delirious getting off a great start. Cyclone just 6/10 behind. And King Kirk losing out to 10-hole dollars there. 10-hole dollars going around the outside of King Kirk at turn 1 for the overtake. And Kirk unfortunately picking up some wing damage there, and very early on, but he's going to have to push through. I don't see him pitting this early for that limited amount of wing damage, but it's definitely going to hurt him here in his first stint of the race.
Yeah, King Kirk wants to get probably best case scenario for him to go 3-4 laps here, get the wing change, maybe slap on the hard tire there, find a bit of clean air, and just start making hay with his track time or his lap times, and hopefully make up a bit of ground. And then once we work our way through the pit sequence without a safety car, he should find himself back kind of where he was.
Yeah, and you see Night Shrimp and Professional Rain going side by side, and Professional Rain backing out there before the hairpin.
Yeah, it looks like these guys are just trying to settle into a bit of a rhythm, kind of get their pace, you know, underneath them, let the tire temperatures come up. Some of these guys on the medium tire, so that's going to be at least a couple laps before they start to find maximum grip in their tire temp range. So we see Tazonic run a bit wide on the exit of the chicane there. I'm on board with Night Shrimp. He's trying to make a bit of ground up on Tazonic, who's currently sitting in 8th place, using all the track. A bit of a lockup there from Tazonic. Night Shrimp doing a nice job here to keep pace with the AlphaTauri driver on the softer tire.
Yeah, he's got to be wary though there. Perpetual Rain behind him, because Rain has been getting very close there to the gearbox of Night Shrimp, and Night Shrimp on the medium, so still a little bit less pacey on tires. Oh, as it looks like we have a Sector 3, but I believe that's Vexing Track just retiring in the pits very early in the race. Not too sure why he retired this early, but he's chosen to do so. And fortunate to see him be our first driver for a DNF tonight.
Yeah, Tazonic now about 6 seconds off of Thanatos. In front of him, Night Shrimp all over the gearbox of that AlphaTauri. Tazonic taking a bit of curb there. Gets away with it, a little bit of a lockup, but I know Night Shrimp, he feels like he has a faster pace. He's up 3 position spots right now, our biggest winner on the start of this race. And he wants to make his way around Tazonic as quick as possible, start working up on the back of that McLaren in front of them.
Yeah, as they make their way through the Nouvelle chicane and into Tebek. That's going to be very challenging once you start catching the tire wear, because you want to get as close to the outside wall there through Tebek. And that can be one spot you'll see some drivers lose an end plate, because you're trying to carry out so much speed that if you just go a little too deep, you can get caught out by that wall.
It looks like King Kirk now starting to pay the penalty for that early wing damage. He's lost a bit of time to 10-hole dollars in front of him. He's allowed Shadow Wolf to catch up. The Haas driver on the softer tire, making his way past Casino right now. A little bit of a lockup there. He keeps it pretty tidy though. I imagine, oh, a little bit of contact as he gives King Kirk there a little bit of a love tap. In the back there unsettles King Kirk's car a little bit, but King Kirk getting away with it. Making their way through the tunnel right now, down through and into the braking zone for the chicane. Shadow Wolf loses a bit of time there to King Kirk, and King Kirk's going to retain that position for now.
Yeah, and as you were talking about one Haas, we were on board with the other, and Perpetual Rain finally got the move done there on Night Shrimp. He might be looking to get one here through the Nouvelle chicane. Oh, they're locking up. Oh, and he's hit the inside wall. Oh, no, that's horrible for Rain. Tazonic looks like he may have gotten out with no damage. Oh, nope, that is a lie. He's got losing that left end plate, and that is tragic there for Perpetual Rain, but maybe lucky enough to not catch any wing damage, but those tires will be on fire now. He might have to take a lap just to cool them off.
Night Shrimp gets around Tazonic with that incident, picks up a 5-second penalty. Couldn't tell if it was for collision or cut in the corner. Tazonic's going to go ahead and pit. He has to change his front wing. He's missing an end plate. That's costing him time. Wing change for Night Shrimp as well. He's using a slap on the hard tire. Interesting move from the Ferrari team here, but you know, I kind of called it. King Kirk wants to do the same. You kind of want to do it now.
Yeah, very early to me to where you may not lose too much time towards the end of the race, as far as will extend their gaps further. And who knows, maybe Night Shrimp putting on the hards can gain from this, but still losing time there from changing the wing. Tazonic presumably maybe serving as 5-second time penalty as well in the pits, so we'll see if that comes into play later in the race. But you've got to feel for Perpetual Rain making one small mistake there and losing a lot of time on circuit, even if he did get those two drivers at the end of the pits.
It's easy to do that. I actually did it last year in our D1 race. I was the last guy on the lead lap in second place, if you want to believe that, just trying to keep up with our former competitor in PPR, and took a little bit too much entry angle there and just spun. Fortunately, was able to still finish second. So we see $10 lost a lot of time to Indian Cyclone. It allows King Kirk to catch up, but King Kirk quickly towing along to Shadow Wolf. And now Ramrod has found himself on the back of the Shadow Wolf. The Alfa Romeo driver making up a bit of time here. This might be him smelling blood in the water as a shark, thinking he can get around the two guys in front of him, especially with King Kirk there with wing damage.
Yeah, you got one Alpha losing a bit of time and one gaining a lot of it. It looks like $10 now got back outside that 1 second gap there from King Kirk. But I have to say that Kirk, though, with the damage, has done a decent job. I mean, probably what you could ask from him, dealing with that wing damage, and being able to retain fourth so far could definitely prove very well for him. Come in second sit in the race when he can put on some fresh tires and get that wing change.
King Kirk likely running downforce to the absolute max. He's still showing some decent pace here. I think what's helping him the most is he's running a very nice tight line. I'm not seeing him miss any apexes. He's using all the track up until the very edge where the barriers kind of extend out. And he just seems to kind of be minding his own business right now, probably hoping that he gets a safety car or at least a VSC that's going to allow him to change that wing, slap on a fresh set of medium tires, maybe the hards, and kind of get after it again. You can see that podium place position of third right in front of him with $10 losing a bit of time, probably struggling with tire wear, maybe tire temps right now. That's the other thing we haven't talked about, Nick, is lighting up the rear of the tires. So you can find yourself doing what King Kirk just did and kind of losing the back end, and that's going to accelerate the wear and tire temps, and it's going to make that car very unstable coming out of these very important traction zones.
Yeah, and also with lighting up the rears, you're going to feel that a lot through 14 and 15 through swimming pool. You'll see it a lot of times, drivers lose the back end, as we see King Kirk here coming through. You'll see drivers lose the back end right here and hit that wall. Kirk taking it very cautiously. But drivers start pushing, and if you get those tires light up, that could definitely find you in a little bit of a slide. And I've seen it plenty of times, especially towards the latter stages of races, where when drivers are pushing for position, that could definitely catch them out. That's a good note to put out there, that tire temps will come into play. Maybe not so much right now, but definitely towards the middle. And it looks like we have an incident with the two AlphaTauris. Marlin off circuit, Tazonic already back up. It looks like there may have just been Marlin going off there through the Novos paint. It looks to be up and running. A little bit of wing damage, though. Nothing major between those guys.
Yeah, Tazonic making his way now in P9 onto the front straightaway. Didn't quite catch what happened there, as we see Mad Marlin dip into the pits. He's going to be changing yet another wing, and we talked about this. A lot of time to be lost. It's almost just worth it to just get out of the throttle, maybe stay in the brakes a little bit longer, just to lose maybe half a second of time on track, just so you don't have to lose so much time in the pits. And as we see Ferrari driver in the pits there, maybe not, no.
Yeah, it looks like that was Night Shrimp retiring, presumably maybe catching more wing damage as he went back into the pits, and maybe calling that a day. But one thing at Monaco is you can never count yourself out. If you're on the lead lap, anything can happen that's going to bring you back in. So as unfortunate it is to see drivers DNF, you maybe don't know what's going on behind the wheel, but definitely hoping that they could say, but they will not, and that is our second DNF.
Yeah, I've been watching Ramrod here, talking about sticking in it. He had worked his way up to the gearbox of the Shadow Wolf, was finding himself in an area to maybe capitalize on a mistake by the guys in front, but Unfortunately, it looks like he's missing an end plate on that Alfa Romeo, and it's costing him some time here. Now almost 2.5 seconds to the Shadow Wolf, the Haas driver who's behind King Kirk, who's behind 10 whole dollars. So nice little battle here for third place. King Kirk and the Shadow Wolf, the closest drivers, but can't count out Ramrod, especially if he wants to go for the undercut here. He might be able to get the wing changed and get a set of the mediums or hards slapped on and make up a bit of time in clean air. Traffic not playing a factor tonight with only 11 drivers remaining on track as we make our way through lap 9 starting lap 10 as Delirious has run off with this race, up 8.5 seconds to Indian Cyclone.
Yeah, and now we see it. King Kirk has come in. He's going to throw on the hards here and getting a wing change as well. We see Ramrod.
He's going to lose some time to Ramrod.
Yeah, Ramrod coming in here. See
Ramrod
sorry. Get it over? No, he's not. He's going to have to get a wing change. And it looks like King Kirk will keep that position in the pits. But Fontes, however, can he jump Ramrod? Yes, he can. Ramrod comes out behind Fontes, and Fontes gets an overtake done in the pits. So he's going to see himself move up in the 7th.
Yeah, capitalizing on others' misfortune, the McLaren driver, Fontes, finding his way there around Ramrod in the pits. And I apologize. I thought King Kirk was maybe being held up by Ramrod coming through, but no, it looks like a bit of a wing change for him as well. Both him and Ramrod on the hard tires now. Let's see what kind of undercut they can pull off on 10 whole dollars and the Shadow Wolf, who are still out on the soft tires right now.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if this is maybe going to trigger an early stop between these guys. Because who knows, maybe they don't know that the guys behind them had wing damage and their pits took a little bit longer than normal. They're not going to have that information, but it looks like they're both going to stay out here for another lap and maybe stick it out till their pit stop, which we may see as, we see it there, the pit window opening, that presented by AWS. Please sponsor us here at PPR, we would love it. But you see that pit window now opening up for the mediums, but that's for a 2-stop strategy. That's going to have to take these softs a little bit longer if you want to stick those mediums on.
10 whole dollars losing a bit of time on the left-hand sweeper into Casino. Struggling for tire wear, it looks like. You see the rear end sliding all over the track under these traction zones. Shadow Wolf, not sure what his situation is on tire wear, but he looks to have a bit more pace than the Alfa Romeo driver in P3. You got to imagine if you're the Shadow Wolf, you want to make this move as soon as possible as he struggles now with traction out of, I don't know what turn that is, but coming through the tunnel there into the chicane, and he's not going to be able to capitalize on it using even DRS.
Yeah, not enough of a gap there to shoot for a move in the Novo chicane as they come through to Beck there. And now we'll be approaching Summer Pool as we get to see all those beautiful yachts there. Wish I had one myself. However, like 10 whole dollars, I only have 10 whole dollars.
And Indian Cyclone into the pits. He's going to slap on the hard tire, hoping to make up a bit of time on Delirious, man, he's off on his own island in first place, has run a quiet race, but that's a good thing if you're the leader. Keeping himself out of trouble, keeping that front wing intact, but Indian Cyclone going to cycle out, looks like in pretty clean air, so he's not going to have to worry about any challenges from Perpetual Rain, who finds himself a bit down the order here, just 4 seconds off of the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, and
but man, the Shadow.
It should be said here,
Shadow
cut you off there a sec, that $10 hitting for the mediums, maybe going for a 2-stop strategy or trying to take these till the end. They could definitely quite possibly make it till the end, but $10 going for the alternate strategy here.
Leaving it all on the track. I don't imagine that he's going to make that work. He was struggling on the soft tire. The Shadow Wolf, if he can just keep some good pace here, maybe before his in-lap, yep, if he makes some time up there, maybe slap on the hard tire, he can get that pass done just on strategy alone on $10. He sits down net P3 as we see these guys start to get a little bit spaced out here. As we see Fantas into the pits again, so maybe a bit of wing damage by the McLaren driver, losing out. If you remember, we had called the shot that he had made his way around Ramrod in the pits, but unfortunately for him, he's going to find himself caught out yet again by wing damage, falling victim to the barriers here at Monaco and just the tight track limits.
Yeah, and that is unfortunate there. And especially after you just made a pit stop, to have to come back in is so heartbreaking. Must be said though, Delirious.
Sweet. Perpetual Rain and $10 go side by side up the hill out of turn 1. And Perpetual Rain to Shadow Wolf playing smart there, letting the Alfa Romeo driver through, not to cause either person an incident there, possibly damage.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do here, especially still pretty early on, is get any more damage. We've seen so many guys already with that wing damage. I was going to say Delirious hitting for the mediums as well. So $10 to Shadow Wolf and Delirious, all pitting there for the mediums. King Kirk also as well. And King Kirk has fallen all the way back down to 8th after we saw him holding P4 for such a long time. He's just now fallen very back now in the order of drivers.
$10 struggling for a bit of pace in the 3rd position right now. He's lost in end plates. This is allowed to Shadow Wolf to work his way back up. They're both on the medium tire. Shadow Wolf pitting last lap. Does the Haas driver go for the move up the hill? It's very tight. It's an extremely daring move if he does. Doesn't look like he is, but he definitely has way more pace now than $10, who's struggling for front end grip right now.
Yeah, and I think $10 knows that. He's just kind of planning his car in the middle of the circuit, knowing that the Shadow Wolf doesn't have a small enough car to really go either way on him. And then now come through the hairpin and be approaching the tunnel very shortly. See if Shadow Wolf might be able to get a good exit off here. Doesn't look like he can, and maybe too late to build up enough of a gap there to make a move down no chicane, but definitely looking racy here for the final podium spot. And I gotta say, Delirious there in 1st is not safe yet. He might have an 11-second gap on Cyclone, but if those mediums can't make it to the end, as he now steals the fastest lap of the race, if those mediums can't make it to the end, he might have to make another stop, which he builds up enough of a gap he can do, but it's maybe not something you want to be doing while you're leading the race by this much of an advantage.
Yeah, pit lane delta here is about 22, 23 seconds. Just to have a safe exit and get out in front of the guy behind you. We see Delirious pushing hard right now, of course getting the fastest lap of the race. Maybe he knows he has to do a 2-stop, and he's just kind of 100% right now, just getting everything he can out of every set of tires that he's going to put on. But I think you're absolutely right. If Indian Cyclone plays his cars the right way, manages those hard tires, he may be able to jump Delirious on a 1-stop strategy, but Delirious is going to be on the faster tire towards the end of the race. So could make for an interesting battle between these two. We'll have to wait and see. And that would be fun to watch. I'd have to agree there.
We could see a Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen-esque battle, and it's ironic that they're both in the same cars. However, alternate strategies what we saw there back in 2019. But at the moment, the Shadow Wolf, our closest competitive car here on circuit, everyone else pretty gapped out due to alternating pit strategies and changing front wings. He's been given $10 a run for his money here, but just hasn't been able to make a move quite yet.
No, and he keeps looking 7/10 behind the Alfa Romeo driver. The only other close battle similar to that is King Kirk making his way back up onto the gearbox of Perpetual Rain. Fortunately, King Kirk had to stop again. He's now done 2 stops and on the medium tire, so he's looking at a potential 3-stop race here to close out Monaco. Unfortunate for the Mercedes driver as he makes his way around as we see Tazonic pit. Interesting, he was on the hard tire, now going on to the medium tire for a bit of a wing change too, so he's going to lose more time there as well. As King Kirk's now worked his way back up, he's half a second off the Haas driver, Perpetual Rain. Both on similar tire wear, I would imagine. Perpetual Rain on a lap younger set of medium tires. King Kirk now on 3-lap old mediums. We'll have to see how this plays out. Ramrod out there on the hards. He's a bit on his own out there, it looks like. He's 8 seconds off to Shadow Wolf, 11 seconds in front of Perpetual Rain. But Ramrod possibly going to be able to pick up some position finishing places that are super important to his championship hopes. if he can just make it around to Shadow Wolf and 10 Hole Dollars, those guys on the medium tires, potentially having to stop again. I think we've lost Nick. Let's see if we can get PPR Nick back in the booth.
Yes, and I am back. I do apologize. Mike wanting to go out for a minute there.
Well, PPR Nick having a bit of technical difficulties. Now that I know I'm on my own here, I was a bit worried it was me that maybe had disconnected from the booth. As we see 10 Hole Dollars still 6/10 up onto Shadow Wolf 14. Shadow Wolf not able to make any moves on the Alpha driver. Unfortunately, they're both on the same tire, so that move's going to be very tough to get. These guys have been almost glued to each other. Ramrod and King Kirk at the time, but King Kirk falling victim to a bit of wing damage. They were all our top 3 guys battling for a bit of the race here. So we see Tizonix going to pick up a 3-second time penalty. And that's the other thing that we mentioned a bit in qualification was time penalties. And I've been watching the ticker come across the bottom of the screen here. Some of these guys picking up 3-second penalties. We see Fantas pick up some. Could play a factor in the finishing order of this race. As we see Delirious, man, he's just absolutely crushing it tonight. No penalties, just 1 warning. Indian Cyclone the same. As we go down to 10 Hole Dollars, he has himself almost with the time penalty. To Shadow Wolf, 1 warning as well. But
And
Perpetual Rain with a penalty.
Can you hear me, Saxman?
I got you, man.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like Mike decided to take its own pit stop here. But yes, we are back as you run us down the order there for penalties.
Yeah, so some of these guys, a little bit down the order, picking up time penalties. Our top 5 guys not falling victim to that, but as we see Perpetual Rain run a bit deep there. He's now making his way onto the front straightaway. King Kirk on his gearbox, 5/10 off of the Haas driver. It's tough, Nick, man. I've been watching these 2 close battles, and these guys are all on the medium tire. So there's really not a guy that has an advantage, and even the guys that were on the hard tire, Ramrod now opting to go onto that medium tire. So maybe the hard tire, not the tire of choice that you want to be on. As we see Indian Cyclone now almost 17 seconds behind Delirious, our only top running guy on the hard tires. So that just is unfortunate though, because it just means that everyone's on an equal playing field.
Yeah, and Delirious there sitting first. Definitely took a gamble coming in on the mediums and potentially going to 2-stop here, but looks like it's going to pay off for me. Just needs about 5 more seconds there on Cyclone and be able to have a clear pit stop and be able to get around him. As we see a yellow there in second one, looks like that's quite unsure who that was for. I hope that wasn't for Delirious. It may have been, or for Mad Marlin going slow. Doesn't look like Delirious has any wing damage there, so nothing to worry about between them. But the Shadow Wolf, once again, getting another run up here at $10. Oh, and $10 gave him the inside for just a moment. I thought Shadow might take it, but no, he doesn't, and $10 is still going to stick in the middle of the track and hold off Shadow Wolf once again.
Did I see a bit of damage there amongst the Williams? No, it looks like everybody made it out.
That looks like that was the Alfa Romeo there of $10 now caught wing damage. Looks like he's missing his left end plate.
Wow, so we did see a driver lose an end plate here. This is going to spell even more difficulty and a bigger challenge for the $10 to keep the Shadow Wolf behind him. He had been maybe struggling for a bit. Shadow Wolf showing a bit more pace, but now the Haas driver looking to capitalize on the Alpha driver, who's now missing an end plate, picked up a bit of wing damage.
Yeah, now the challenge is really on for $10. If it wasn't challenging enough, let's up the stakes and cut off your end plate. as it actually looks like Shadow Wolf is starting to lose a little bit of his back in there and losing even more time there to $10. So maybe that little bit of break is good enough for him, but the other Haas we're looking at here, Perpetual Rain, still under threat from King Kirk.
Shadow Wolf gets in the barrier on the exit of turn 1 there at Santa Ball. Losing a bit of time here. And this is funny enough, Nick, and this has happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to you. Sometimes losing an end plate can help rebalance the car, especially if you've worn out the rear tires. And maybe we see that with $10 whole here. Maybe he was struggling with a bit of oversteer, especially under acceleration. And now that he's missing that end plate, the car might find a little bit better balance. And as odd as that sounds, it can be true here in some of these league races.
Yeah, but I think, guys, because I mean, I definitely understand what you're saying. Some guys who have played F1 2020 understand that the way this game is, that it actually sometimes you start losing tire wear and you lose a bit of an end plate, it does kind of balance out the car, and you feel almost as if there's no wing damage there. So that could potentially be the case for $10 whole. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise that he lost a little bit of his end plate there, even if that is going to cost him a little bit of time on his lap.
We see $10 whole here. It's allowed to Shadow Wolf to close back up. The Alpha driver out of ERS depletes his battery. Only 8% in there. Haas driver behind him of Shadow Wolf sitting with 60%, a little bit more. So he's in a prime position to take advantage of this. I'm curious to see what kind of lap times $10 whole is running. It doesn't look like he's lost a bit of time prior to the wing damage. He was running kind of mid 115s, and last lap a 115.7. So maybe the Shadow Wolf still has an advantage here just on pace alone, regardless of the wing damage. We see $10 whole pick up a 3-second time penalty. And
I was just about to say that might cost him out, because this battle stays like this till the end of the race. Granted, these guys don't pick, because if they do, $10 is going to lose out because he's going to have to change his front wing. If he elects to do so, maybe he is very bold and tells his pit crew he doesn't need another one, but I don't see that happening. But yeah, that time penalty could come out to cost him at the end of the race if they stay as close as they are right now.
Yeah, if $10 whole were to stop right now, he's going to fall in line behind King Kirk and Perpetual Rain. Those two guys still battling on track as we see Fantas in the final points paying position of 10th place. He's worked his way back up onto the gearbox of Mad Marlin. Both those drivers on older hard tires as we see Fantas run a bit wide. Did he pick up wing damage? No, he did not. But everyone kind of off on their own race right now. Maybe $10 whole takes a chance, come off those mediums a bit early, and slaps another set of mediums, gets that wing replaced. He might work his way back up there if these guys can't make the one-stop strategy work in the soft to medium strategy.
Yeah, and in a few laps time too, it looks like $10 whole and the Shadow Wolf might catch up to the back there of Fantas and Mad Marlin, who looks like Fantas just cut the Novo chicane there. Mad Marlin gets the position back. So no overtake done there. I gotta say though, do you think these guys can do it? They've been fighting so long, but no overtakes done. Even King Kirk, who's sitting behind Perpetual Rain, hasn't been able to get an overtake. I mean, how are they going to do it?
It's just so tough to. It's so tough, man. I feel the pain of these drivers. I mean, we saw it in Spain last week. We've seen it in some other tracks. The dirty air is huge in this game. If you're the guy in front, you just have such an advantage of clean air. The guy behind you really has to struggle with getting the maximum grip through mechanical grip and just making what he can of the aero he does have to make it around you. And sometimes it just isn't enough. And you just fall into these situations where if you're King Kirk or if you're the Shadow Wolf or you're Fantas right now, you just get frustrated because no matter how hard you try, you just, by the time you're on the back of the gearbox, you can't make that move.
Yeah, and I mean, we've quite literally seen that play out all night here. They still got 14 laps to do so, as I see King Kirk take a nice little hop.
Oh, Fantas and Mad Marlin come together.
Yes, they have.
Oh, and this is going to be right in front of $10 whole in that battle with the Shadow Wolf. So this is going to be interesting here.
And they got the back marker of Hey AC behind them as well. Oh, how is this going to play out? I think Fantas is far enough ahead that it's not going to come to spoil these guys unless he stays out. But it looks like he's coming into the pits at the perfect time, so it's not going to affect this battle. That would have been quite the shakeup, and maybe the break Shadow Wolf would have needed to get an overtake if he could have played his cards right. But it looks like $10 is still safe for the time being, as they've had Hey AC there, who's in ninth, just sitting behind them the whole time.
And Shadow Wolf is trying to send it on the outside, does not get the pass done, but he gave $10 a nice look. The Haas driver sitting on a ton of ERS. I'm surprised he's not challenging there, but that shakeup there with back markers, like you said, Nick's allowed the Shadow Wolf to really put a lot of pressure now on the Alpha driver, who's really struggling with battery management and possibly tire wear from that missing front end plate on his wing.
Yeah, see if he can get a run here down the Novo chicane. Doesn't look like he got a good enough of an exit there, and $10 still going to be able to keep it for the time being. Oh, but yeah, Shadow Wolf is really starting to get antsy here. He knows his time's running out. You got to think.
I think he just has to keep it clean here. He's too far down the order, I believe, to make a run for Indian Cyclone. $10 has a 3-second time penalty. I think if the Haas driver just plays it smart here and stays patient, he's going to nip a P3 finishing position from $10. But probably, like all of us, showing a bit of pride here, wants to make the move on track as they see them jostling for track position. As we see Shadow Wolf not get the best runs out of the corner there. $10 still maintaining his defensive position on track to keep that third place position for the final podium step here at Monaco tonight.
Yeah, and I think Fontes is really struggling there because we see him going pretty slowly. Went on board with him for a brief second. He's missed a Novo chicane, I think, every time the past 3 to 4 laps. Unsure what's going wrong with him, but that is very unfortunate, and he will retire from the session.
He's calling it quits. Yeah, calling it quits, and picked up some more wing damage. Just this race can be.
Oh, but here comes Shadow Wolf. Real quick, he's going around the outside. Oh, he makes contact there with $10. They're keeping it side by side. $10 still keeps the position, but that was the closest we've seen them come so far. Shadow Wolf is getting so close to getting that position, and he's got 12 more laps to make it happen. And oh man, he can feel it coming on now. He's just got to make it work.
Yeah, Shadow Wolf, man, he's getting antsy. He just needs to time his move correctly. He got super close there in the chicane. $10 super defensive, and I don't know who to be more impressed with. The Shadow Wolf are just kind of sticking with it and almost pushing that Alpha along the track, or $10 being as defensive as he is with minimal battery life, just holding off to Shadow Wolf. It's impressive to say the least.
Yeah, and I've seen so many overtake attempts there to the Novo chicane go wrong, and somehow those guys made it work, giving each other enough space, or as much as he possibly can here in Monaco. And it doesn't look like Shadow Wolf's going to be able to make another run up here on this lap, but buying his time once again.
These guys keeping it nice and tight out of the exit. They're both running great lines. I want to see what the Shadow Wolf is doing in the penultimate corner. I think that's where he's losing a bit of time, and if you can just take maybe a later apex, you can get the power down a bit earlier, and even a split second makes a difference here with DRS and ERS as he gets a good run there. He's just not able to put the power down. So you can see he's struggling there. $10 getting a better run. And by the time you make it to the end of the front stretch there, you're out of just real estate. You got to get on the brakes and kind of slot back in line and make another attempt at the next lap.
Oh, but there goes King Kirk now on the inside of Perpetual Rain. Rain's hit the wall, nearly hit Kirk. Oh, Rain couldn't keep it together as Kirk was on his inside, and Kirk now picks up P5, and that is one Haas driver down into 6th, but he has plenty of time if he wants to make another pit stop, and he'll stay in 6th position as Tessonic is nearly a complete lap down. As with another battle comes another shouting expression towards you, Saxman. That was
no. Take it away, man.
Very
unfortunate for Perpetual
exciting.
Rain to. Yeah, he lost a bit of wing there. It's a bit rambling on about $10 and Shadow Wolf. Unfortunate for the Haas driver. He had been holding his own in P6 and looking to get a good result tonight. Unfortunately, King Kirk and him making a bit of contact. Looks like King Kirk has wing damage as well.
Yeah, look at Kirk here. Fortunately, the game not wanting to show us too much. But yeah, looks like he does have wing damage as well. But it looks like
Shadow
now
Wolf continues. Shadow Wolf continues to struggle with traction coming out of that corner, and that just allows $10 whole to get enough breathing room to kind of keep it in front and just hold on lap after lap.
Yeah, and it looks like this is going to be the final battle for position on track. Unless we see more drivers pit, we see Rain coming in the pits. Hey, AC as well. Hey, AC maybe just going for the fastest lap. Knows he's going to pick up a point. Maybe just trying to steal that fastest lap from Delirious, who picked it up on lap 16 earlier. But this is going to be the battle for the podium. And actually, you could check, Saxman. Does the Shadow Wolf have any time penalty? We do know that $10 whole has at least a 3-second to his name so far.
Shadow Wolf, one of the cleanest drivers I know, only has one warning currently. $10 whole has picked up a 3-second time penalty. So that's going to play a factor in the finishing order here tonight. But you just never know. Shadow Wolf getting anxious, getting antsy behind the Alpha driver in front of him. Maybe he makes a couple mistakes and picks up a time penalty. Then he really does have to get the move done on track. As we see him again lose the rear end of the car, and this is hurting him. And this has to play a factor into tire wear and tire deg for these guys. Now sitting on an 18 and 17 lap old medium tires. So quite impressive that they're going after it lap by lap, but you got to wonder how tire wear is going to play a factor in the final 5 laps or so of this race.
Yeah, especially with as hard as they've pushed them, and even for Shadow Wolf, who's been behind $10, those tires are going to feel a little bit worse for wear coming to the end of this race. We see Kirk now going to the pits. He's putting on the soft as well, maybe shooting for his chance at a fastest lap. But yeah, it's
Mercedes driver
here.
Mercedes driver not losing a lot of time to Perpetual Rain. He's going to be on the medium tire. I don't think it's going to play a factor. I think that soft tire makes it to the end of the race. As long as King Kirk keeps it out of the fence, I'm sure the stewards will be looking at that move. A bit of contact between King Kirk and Perpetual Rain a couple laps ago. The Novell chicane. But back up to the Shadow Wolf. He's now losing time to $10 whole. Do you think, Nick, does any one of these guys come in and put the soft tire on and try to bait one of the other guys to come in and do the same?
Oh, I really doubt it. I think if one comes in, one will stay out. I don't think any one of these guys wants to do it. I think if they were, it would have been this lap or the previous. I think they're going to stick it out unless their tires are just going to completely explode. But I say that, and we had Money Hustard, I believe, last week take cars all the way till the end of the race, and they were on 90%, and he just didn't care. So these drivers might be in the same mindset to where if it pops, it pops, but they're going to stick with the position that they got and ride it out till the end.
Yeah, Shadow Wolf struggling for rear grip. As we see, hey, AC set at a 112.6. So the Williams driver in P10 taking fastest lap for now. Let's see if he can hold on to that. As we know, King Kirk is on 1 lap old soft tires. I imagine he's going to be wanting to set a quick lap here to pick up an extra point on top of his 5th position.
Oh, and is Shadow Wolf going to go for it again? Yes, he is around the outside. Oh, does he have the position? Oh, they make contact. Oh, but so does $10, and that's Shadow Wolf up into 3rd. And $10 picks up more wing damage, it looks like, from hitting the wall. He's got enough time to come to the pits if he wants to this lap, as King Kirk's 27 seconds behind him. And he does. Do so.
Yeah, $10 whole got caught on the outside there, struggled to get the traction down, lost the rear end, and unfortunately put it into the exit barrier of the chicane there, allowed the Shadow Wolf to get that move done. Bit scrappy between these two drivers, but unfortunately the Shadow Wolf had to make his move, and now finds himself in P3, kind of off 24 seconds off the back of the Mercedes driver of Indian Cyclone.
Oh, and it might be close here as they make the run up. $10 whole coming out. Oh, and it is going to be close. King Kirk gets the move. I think $10 whole was at the worst possible spot here in the race because King Kirk was pushing for fastest lap and he got it. And in doing so, overtakes $10 whole. And King Kirk's probably wondering how he just ended up in 4th place. But there he goes, 4th place and fastest lap.
Unfortunate for King King Kirk sitting on, looks like 9 seconds of penalties. But man, he's had some pace tonight. He's made an extra stop on top of $10. And even with a 3-stop strategy, still able to make it by the Alfa Romeo driver of $10 with only, looks like what, 6 laps left to go in this race?
Yeah, and you see there, you can only imagine if Kirk didn't have 3 stops to his name tonight, where he'd be, because the top 3 in front of him, all 1 stop in, he potentially could have been battling with his teammate and pretty much could have had that overtake there, maybe a podium. Who knows, but it looks like he's going to be good enough for P4 unless $10 has something to say about it there on the medium set of tires. And he very well may. I mean, he's cut into that second gap now. And he's got 5 laps to catch back up to Kirk and regain a 4th place. And as you said, Kirk with those penalties could very well lose it, even if $10 doesn't get it done on track.
Perpetual rain, even if he can just make up a bit of time here with just a 3-second time penalty, he's only barely a little over 3 seconds off the back of King Kirk. He could even make himself up to, or move himself up to P5. And that would demote King Kirk all the way down to P6, just on time penalties alone.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the heartbreak there for Kirk. Maybe he's going to go home tonight knowing that he could have had a much better finish than what he's got or going to get here on track. But I mean, that's pretty much what we've talked about here, though, with Monaco. Is you got to have the luck and you got to have the consistency to make it work.
Consistency, I think, is key here. We see fast drivers come into Monaco. They have tremendous 1-lap, 2-lap pace. But it's often the consistent driver, even if they're slower, that usually comes out on top. Shadow Wolf setting into this rhythm of sorts. Looks like a bit of a lockup. But again, to Shadow Wolf, a perfect example of that. Hardly no penalties that I know of. And just has set a consistent pace all night long. And finally able to make the move around $10, and he finds himself in P3.
Yeah, and he's going to be coming home with a very coveted podium if he can make it stick here till the end. It's interesting, though. We have King Kirk coming up on Delirious, and he's on the faster set of tires. Delirious, 22 laps there on the mediums. I'm wondering if we might see King Kirk try to unlap himself, or maybe stick it behind Delirious. But he's got to be careful because he got $10 now coming up to the back of King Kirk. This could get pretty spicy towards the end.
It's going to be a challenge, man. King Kirk being faster, but you can't pass the leader because then you're going to get the blue flags. But he almost has no choice with $10 coming up right behind him. His best bet and what he's going to hope for is Delirious decides to maybe stop and put on a set of soft tires to go for that fastest lap. He has a gap to Indian Cyclone. King Kirk might find himself between a rock and a hard place, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation to be in. As we said, I mean, if you are going to try to overtake the leader, you got to break out into a sizable gap because you get, I believe, it's 5 blue flags before you get a time penalty. So you have to do it within that allotted time. And it looks like $10 now is shooting for his move as King Kirk is now right on the gearbox of Delirious. This is quite an awkward position for Delirious to be in. Do you think he maybe just pulls over to the side?
I don't know. He's the race leader, so he's setting the pace here. And throw in another factor, he's catching Mad Marlin right now, who's sitting on 10-lap old medium tires. So these 4 drivers finding themselves in very close proximity. The one thing Delirious does not need is for King Kirk to maybe get into the back of him, or for him to get caught up in maybe an incident with Mad Marlin trying to overtake him. And that could hurt these guys as well, because as Delirious makes a move on Mad Marlin, King Kirk's going to be pressured to do the same because he has $10 right on his gearbox.
Yeah, and it's interesting to say that King Kirk is in the Mercedes. His teammate is currently sitting in second in a Mercedes. They're very clean guys. Wouldn't expect anything dirty to come of it. And actually, it looks like Delirious is going to pull off.
And he's going to park it right between the 2 drivers. They're in the middle of a battle. Delirious pulls off to the inside there. That's smart on his end. This is going to allow these 2 drivers to battle as we see $10 try to make up a bit of ground on King Kirk. He lost some time as we saw Delirious pull to the inside and Mad Marlin as well. But great sportsmanship on Delirious' part to kind of get out of the way and let these guys get after it and race. the driver in the Red Bull, up 33 seconds on Indian Cyclone.
Yeah, now the one thing these guys have to do is just clear Delirious pretty quickly. I don't see the blue flags coming their way, so looks like they're safe from any unwarranted time penalties. But yeah, great sportsmanship there by Delirious. I kind of suspected that he would do so, knowing these guys are gaining so much on him. That, I mean, if he doesn't let them by, they're going to try to take it. Oh, and yeah, $10 with a 3-second time penalty.
Let's see how this plays out. Looks like King Kirk's still sitting on 9 seconds. This is gonna 2 penalties for $10. So King Kirk, tall order to ask for as he's sitting on what looks to be 6-lap old soft tires. If he can open up a 3-second gap, or maybe he gets lucky and $10 picks up a bit of wing damage trying to follow the Mercedes driver, he might be able to retain 4th place here.
Yeah, very much so. He could do so. And the one thing I'm wondering about $10 is if he's checked the time penalty chart here. I wonder if he knows that King Kirk has a time penalty, because if not, he might get really racy and go for a move that he might not really need to make.
I'll say this as a driver in D1, $10, having just picked up his own time penalty, he's probably thinking like, man, if I accidentally pick up another one, I gotta get this move done on track. And so I imagine the Alpha driver is gonna go for the move on King Kirk regardless, just to give himself a bit of buffer, just in time penalties alone, as we see the 2 drivers making their way through the chicane right now. $10, bit of a scrappy exit on his part, passing down the beautiful yachts there that PPR Nick wants one day. As they make their way through swimming pool. Oh, and he's into the wall there, and that's, and a bit of contact with King Kirk as well. So $10 looking pretty racy here in the final stages of this race.
Yeah, it has to be said that those softs there for Kirk are going to start to fade here. And the mediums could pick up a little bit more traction than Kirk. $10, this is the last lap, this is the last chance he has to do it. See if he can get it done.
Maybe $10 realizing he doesn't need to pass Mercedes driver on track. Maybe he sits behind and slots back into place. Perpetual Rain currently net P5. He's not going to be able to get $10 on penalties as he has one of his own. But very, very interesting battle here on track with. We're on the last lap here.
Well, actually, I'll correct myself. These guys have 2 more to go since they unlapped themselves. Delirious is actually behind them now.
Correct.
So they'll have one more shot around it as Delirious is following shortly off in the distance. You see him there in the Novel chicane. And we'll actually take this on board here with our race leader. And it looks like there won't be any overtakes between Kirk and $10 for the time being. Delirious in the Red Bull driving a fantastic race all night long. He's made it work. He's pulled off a perfect strategy, a perfect race, clean from the start. And he weaves off in the distance to take the race win here in Monaco. That is P1 Delirious. You have won the race. Congratulations to you. I'm sure he's going to have some champagne waiting for him next to his sim rig.
And again, sportsmanship on his end. He actually let Perpetual Rain by, which is going to allow Perpetual Rain to continue his battle to stay on the back of King Kirk and $10 here as we see Indian Cyclone make his way past pit entrance through the penultimate corner, ran a fantastic race. Indian Cyclone's going to cross the line in P2. So tremendous result for him. Our championship leader comes out of Monaco with a nice solid podium place finish. Probably not too happy he didn't get the win, but he's going to be happy with this result nonetheless.
Yeah, it's still going to keep him P1 in the championship. Delirious going to catch up there by a few points. 7 to be exact. But here comes Shadow Wolf in the Haas. Mr. Consistent as well, P3. And now down to King Kirk, who's been able to hold off $10 here. But time finally setting in. I think $10 will get the position. Yes, he will be 4th place there for him and Rain, the last driver across the line. And we'll see what he got for time penalties. He got 5th.
What a race.
So I believe Kirk will drop down to 6.
Yeah, Perpetual Rain staying in the pocket there. Got to hand it again to Delirious. Can't speak volumes to what he did in terms of sportsmanship, letting the guys race for that final 4th, 5th, and 6th place finishing positions. What a race, Nick. I mean, I got to give it to these guys. It was challenging, but a lot of on-track action, some good battles. But again, typical Monaco. Typically a race of attrition, and we saw that here tonight.
Yeah, we really did. And I mean, you got to once again give it to Delirious for a great race, and to our drivers, Kirk and Rain and the Shadow Wolf giving us some great battles to other guys as well, battling it out on track. And I mean, you see the top three, they made it work tonight, and they're going to go home with a podium result. Delirious with the win, Cyclone was second, and Shadow Wolf in third. See if we can pull these guys off now. And to the booth, Sax, man, I believe you have a race to attend, but so happy to have you tonight here on stream in the commentary booth. And good luck to you in Xbox Division 1. Everyone who wants to cheer him on can do so in about 10 minutes time. We'll be live here on our YouTube channel, so don't miss out. And once again, thank you so much, Saxman, for being here with us.
Absolutely, Nick. It was a pleasure. I look forward to commentating with PPR in the future, and look forward to many more awesome races with you in the booth.
Definitely, my man. And we'll now transition here and see if we can get in our drivers for an interview before the start of our Xbox Division 1 race, as we'll hop on down here to our nice little podium celebration on our Discord and see if we can get some of our guys in here and get their thoughts on the race. We're already joined by Indian Cyclone. He already knows what to do. How's it going, my man?
Hey, what's up?
So P2 tonight, it looked like Delirious was just really in a world of his own. But how does it feel? I mean, kept it pretty consistent all race. Unfortunately for your teammate Kirk, looks like you guys might have been able to get a double podium tonight, but unfortunately for him, he had some offs there in the race and fell all the way back to 6 after penalties. But for you guys, good for the Mercedes team, good for you in second. What are your thoughts here on the race?
Exactly. I think it was the most uneventful race for me because from the get-go I was alone because Delirious was too fast. I couldn't catch him, and I guess $10 behind me was fighting with Kirk, and they all fell behind, and nothing happened. Closest thing I came to racing was when I passed back markers. That was all.
Yeah, and that is unfortunate. You know, kind of driving your your own race for the
Yeah, I
whole
was.
time.
I'll take P2 though. I'll take P2 any day.
No, most definitely. I mean, would you have wanted? I mean, with a track at Monaco though, would you have wanted to have some tight battles there, or are you kind of more happy that it was slow and not so hectic for you up front?
I wanted to race, I wanted to fight. I just didn't have the pace to fight Delirious today. And I just gotta get more practice in. And no
Yeah,
safety car, that was a surprise.
yeah, we didn't have any guys thrown in the wall tonight, which
Yeah,
was very odd to see at
right.
Monaco. We had a few guys
Exactly.
retire in the pits, but other than that, yeah, you guys kept it really clean tonight. It was exciting to watch for me and Saxman, who were in the booth commentating. He did a great job with us tonight, and hopefully we'll have him some more for you guys' streams. And we're now joined here by Shadow Wolf coming in P3 in the Haas. Congratulations on the podium, and how did it feel? How did the race go? I mean, you and $10 had quite the battle for about 18 laps there.
Race went pretty well, all things considered. Got a good start, squeezed off T1. Turn one. That's all right though. We just didn't get damage or penalties today. That's what made the difference. Didn't have the pace, but kept our nose clean. Yeah, I think $10 had wing damage or something like that, and then I just couldn't get by him on the straights. He kept getting better exits, especially down the main straight. Finally dove it around the outside the second time. First time kind of didn't have enough room. Second time was got my elbows out and got the position. So P3, my second podium at Monaco, which I don't know, not my best track, but we'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations, and we saw both those dives into the Novell chicane, and very dangerous for both of you with how narrow it is into there. But I mean, second time going, you got the move and P3. So congratulations to you and your teammate Perpetual Rain, who finished P5. We'll take it here to Delirious, who just outclassed the entire field tonight. I mean, I think he won the race by 33 seconds. just really kept your head down, stayed P1 the entire race. How's it feel? I mean, it seemed to be pretty easy on your part.
Yeah, it felt good because this is my best track, and then just from last week in Spain, it's just no better way to get it than from last week was not almost crashing out, but whatever happened last week just put that behind me, and then came back here and got the win.
Yeah, I mean, and it was very exciting for us to see. Very happy to see you get that win. Unfortunately, with you so far off in the distance, not really so much love on the screen. I made sure to get you there crossing the line, and just want to thank all of you guys for a great race, giving us some great action. Congratulations on the podiums, and for joining us here in our little podium celebration voice chat. It was very nice having you guys.
Thanks for having
Thank you.
us.
All right, there we have it with our interviews done for the night. It's been quite a race, very exciting to watch, and want to thank everyone who tuned in tonight for Xbox Division 2 here in Monaco. Make sure to check out Division 1 starting up in just a couple of minutes' time. They should be live, hopefully. They have found a commentator for that. Unfortunately, Best Town is out for the night for personal reasons, but hopefully we'll get someone to get that in for you guys so you can catch some more Monaco action. But if you like what you saw tonight, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I am PPR Nick signing off for PPR Esports. I'm going to go catch a Game 7 Clippers game and hope that I don't cry tonight if my Clippers lose. But that's all I got for you guys. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your week and weekend coming up. Peace.